If you're in your 40s and you keep hearing, you need to eat more protein, but you have no idea how to actually make that happen with a very busy life and without living on boring chicken breasts for every single meal. This video is for you. It is not uncommon knowledge that most women in perimenopause are under eating protein, and it's not your fault. No one ever taught us how to build a protein forward plate and how much we actually need after 40. How do I know this? I'm Christy, and I'm a nutritional therapy practitioner and fellow perimenopausal woman, and I help women feel like themselves again using real food and root cause strategies. And today I'm giving you my favorite practical, doable protein hacks that will make hitting your protein goals so much easier without meal prepping your life away or a complete life overhaul. I'm not going to get into the countless reasons of why protein is so important because I have a feeling that if you're here, you already know that. And if you don't, that's totally okay. I will link to a few of my other videos in the description that will help give you the background and determining how much you actually need for each day. And for the rest of you, let's get right into these hacks. The first is to think protein first for all of your meals. When you are building your plate, build it around your protein. Yes, there are so many other really important things that will go on the plate, but when you think about protein first, that helps you build your plate around the protein rather than have it be the afterthought, which is when it can feel really difficult to fit it all in. The next is to front load your day with protein. Start your day with at least 30 grams of protein at breakfast. I personally aim for around 50 grams. And you may think, whoa, that is way too much for me. I'm not even close to that, nor do I ever want to eat that much. And that is okay. But I work out in the morning, and so I like to front load my day with as much as possible to give my body the building blocks to build muscle. Front loading it in general not only helps you reach your protein goals, but it also helps set your blood sugar and your energy on the right track for the rest of the day. And no, it's not like I'm eating 8 eggs for breakfast. This is when we get into protein variety, which brings us into our next point, which is to use power pairing. So combine protein-rich foods to hit your protein target. So don't just think I need just one source of protein. It's how can I get it in multiple ways to combine them to not only reach my goal, but to keep my taste buds happy. So instead of just a meal of eggs as your protein, think eggs maybe with leftover ground meats or diced up sausages, pairing it with cottage cheese or with Greek yogurt, or adding a side of hummus and edamame. These can all add up fast when you put them all together, and it doesn't feel so overwhelming, like you're not eating a pile of just one type of protein. Nobody wants to eat that. The next is to add protein to what you're already eating. You don't need to overhaul everything that you're doing. Take some of the strategies we just talked about in our last point to add in some other complementary proteins. And that doesn't always need to be animal foods. That can be things like adding more lentils and beans or stirring collagen into your oats or coffee, which, by the way, collagen in coffee is not breakfast. Hopefully you're drinking that with your breakfast. Seeds and nuts are also sources of protein. The next is to use convenience foods strategically. I am all for making things from scratch. Yes, it is great that way you can control the ingredients and what's in it, but sometimes life hands it to us and we need something quick. And that's where I use things like rotisserie chicken or store-bought hard-boiled eggs, individual containers of Greek yogurt, beef sticks, or protein powders, or pouches of tuna or salmon. Convenience is not a cop-out, it's a strategy to help you reach your goals. The next is to cook your protein in basic, flexible ways. So instead of making a huge batch of heavily seasoned protein, I like to instead make a huge batch of plain protein that I can then season throughout the week however I like and whatever my taste buds would enjoy. An example of this is ground meats. So you could take a ground turkey, a ground chicken, a ground beef, and cook that with just a little bit of salt. And then throughout the week, you could add some taco seasoning to it. You could add salsa to it. You could use it with pasta. You could use it in lettuce wraps, throw it on a salad. Shredded chicken is another great example of this. Making the shredded chicken with a little bit of salt and then being able to use it in salads, wraps, or bowls. It's so flexible. Then as far as seasonings goes, this is where I like to use different blends, like a taco blend, an Italian blend, a barbecue seasoning blend with condiments or sauces. So things like Primal Kitchen, that's an awesome brand with, yes, it is pre-made sauces, but they are made with very cautious ingredients that they put in there. Siete is another another great brand. Mustard or salsa are even really great ways to be able to change it up. There's so many different ways that you could use that one type of protein. And when you cook these basic proteins, you cook extra of it to not only eat for leftovers later in the week if you need it, or to freeze those portions so you always have a backup when times get tough, which, if you're anything like me, is most weeks. Something always comes up. So that leads us into the next tip, which is to stock your pantry and freezer with lifesavers. So in addition to those convenience items that we can use sometimes, like rotisserie chicken, it's also nice to have those shelf-stable items in your pantry or in your freezer that you can have on hand when you do not have any other option. So things like canned tuna, sardines, salmon, beans. And in the freezer, I like to have Amy Lou is a really great brand with chicken burgers and sausages. Costco also has some solid salmon burgers. There's also turkey meatballs that are great that you can just keep in your freezer. These are clutch when you don't feel like cooking. Just heat them and you are good to go. Hey, if this is giving you some helpful tips, I would love it if you would hit like, subscribe, or share it with a friend. It helps more women find this practical, real-life information in this crazy life stage. Thank you. The next is to use your snacks to reach your goals. So smart snacking, regardless of whether or not you have protein goals, includes protein to help slow the glucose absorption into your bloodstream. But it's also great because it can help you reach your goals. So making sure that you're including protein within your snacks is really great to help add a little bit more protein onto your day. I love cottage cheese or Greek yogurt with berries, using a grass-fed jerky or beef sticks and fruit, or tuna pouches and crackers are also really great, easy options. The next is to prioritize 2 proteins in a week and build around it. So if you don't want a recipe plan or you don't want a meal plan, I get that. I like to pick 1 ground meat and then 1 shredded meat. So for the ground meat, it can be that ground beef, ground turkey, ground chicken. And then for the shredded, it can be shredded chicken or shredded pork are really great options. What I don't typically include in this protein prep list is any type of fish. Because while I love leftovers, I do not love leftover fish, pretty much ever. Nor does my family love the smell that it leaves in the house. So things like salmon, cod, or shrimp are really awesome and I love incorporating them into my week, but those are not the proteins that I am making in bulk to be able to feed me multiple meals throughout the week. And the last is to meal plan only if you're into it. So hear me out. Here's my journey with meal planning. I used to heavily meal plan and meal prep, and I have a lot of trauma around that time in my life. It was not enjoyable and it was really boring. So I don't love meal plans because it seems to always lack flavor and excitement, and it just also takes a lot of time. So I utilize a service for this. I am not affiliated. I just love her so much, and it is called Lily Eats and Tells. She has a weekly meal plan that is sent out and that is protein forward. Also helps me hit my variety goal of over 30 different foods that come from the ground a week. The meals are delicious. It also keeps variety for my taste buds as well. It gives me my shopping list, so it also makes planning really easy. I just adore her, and it has been a total lifesaver because it's hard enough to get the meals on the table, but also to plan for it is just a lot of brain space that I do not have available. Hey, if you want these protein hacks plus a few more, I have a download you can get for free. Just head to the link in my description. You do not have to eat perfect meals every single day. Just pick 1 or 2 of these hacks to try this week and build from there. Protein isn't just about fitness goals, it's about feeling steady, strong, and nourished in this life stage. Let me know in the comments, which protein hack are you gonna try first? Or if you have one that I missed, please share with us. Don't gatekeep. Let us know in the comments. And if you're wanting other ideas on how to build a hormone-friendly plate, I will link to a video right here that will give you all the details. You've got this, and I'm right here with you every step of the way. See you in the next one.